All right. Tuesday, time to go home. Then we got 3 days more to go. Rush hour traffic. That's some of it. My allergies seem to have calmed down during my lunchtime, so that's a good thing. Because it was really pretty bad for a minute. Wow, everybody's trying to get out. Whoever it is, I hope they're okay. They wouldn't be okay if they had called. know a lot of people are hating on Microsoft's new logo. I like it, actually. I think it's a neat little design. It's going with everything Microsoft is going towards that Metro style. Well, not knowing to call it Metro. It's going towards that modern UI or Windows 8 UI style look. And because of that, Microsoft decided to go ahead and change their font to a sans serif, which is a Sago WP or Sago UI is the name of the font. If you notice, everything on my website is Sago font because I like Microsoft and I like what they're trying to do. I haven't really metrofied my website yet. I want to. It's just designing a template is a lot of work because I took a template that I liked and I stripped it clean of everything, you know, and just rewrote the whole template. But writing a template from scratch is a pain in the ass. It really is. It's a pain. It's a lot of work, and I just don't have the time to really work with a template. What I may want to do in the future is to pay somebody, you know, maybe like $500 or I don't know. I know there's a lot of template developers out there. I can explain to them this is how I want my template to look. I want it to look like a Windows 8 platform and have that same feel. I don't necessarily want the left and right swipe, but maybe the up and down like the Windows Phone, and see if they can come up with something that's neat and clean and still have that same black background. I still want that same feel in operation that my current website has. I like the way it looks. I spent a lot of time working on that template. But I know I just talked about two different things in one deal here. So what I want to do is applaud Microsoft for its logo. Yes, it's very plain. It is. It's very plain. It's not exciting. It doesn't really tell the story of Microsoft. The old Microsoft logo actually is very old. You know, it was made. It's actually like what, 25 years old, probably older than that. That logo has not changed with the slanted letters, big bold letters with a little cutout in the E or in the O part. In the micro, there's a little cutout in the middle there. And then if you look at the older Microsoft products, they have some really crazy fonts. And I really do believe Bill Gates was the one that designed the logo. A lot of logos these days are, back in the 80s, there were huge fonts for logos, humongous fonts, big, bold, impact letters. Now people are going with softer, thinner, more inviting, not in-your-face lettering. And I think sHiZ may be a little outdated. The sHiZ logo, it may be a little outdated, but I'm going to stick with it for just a little bit while. I'm very proud of the logo, and I'm just not going to change it. Maybe for like a year or so, but it is very inviting to have the smaller letters and not in-your-face type of logo. You know, like bam, there it is. I like it. It's very plain, yes, but I do like it. This morning, and I don't know if the camera got it or not, but this morning there was, when I got lost or kind of got off the wrong track, I went through the area where the Microsoft store is located. And they had to change the logo there. And as far as I know, they changed the field of logos in front of the Microsoft store at different locations. I guess they haven't got around to the Austin location yet. If that's still going to remain the Microsoft logo or Microsoft Store logo, that could be the reason why they haven't changed it yet. And maybe they only changed a couple of graphics at certain locations. I don't know. But I like it. Years ago, years ago, the Apple logo had the apple with the bite in it, and it was a rainbow color, started from the top, and it went from red to blue, red, green, blue, and that was the logo for Apple for many years. And I think what happened was that somebody complained about that logo. Was it Microsoft? Because Microsoft didn't have a logo like that. I don't remember. Okay, I'm trying to remember. There was a company that complained about the Apple logo and saying that it copied their logo. So what they did, oh, it was Microsoft. Because the Windows logo, okay, it started coming out. The Windows logo had the colorful windows, which is, throughout the years, it's just changed slightly, but it's like a flag of Windows, and that's been changed too to look like a more cricket version of the Microsoft logo. Like the Microsoft logo is like this, and the Windows logo is like this, but it's the same. And instead of being different colors for the Windows logo, it's just a light blue or cyan color for the Windows logo. So it's a little bit flatter than the flag Windows logo that we have all been accustomed to for a very long time, I guess. And the Windows logo hasn't really changed much. The actual flag Windows or Windows flag logo was at one time encased in a round button, which was used for Windows 7 and Windows Vista, the Start Menu button. And that button became the logo, and then they stripped the flag away from the button. They made the flag Windows a logo, and then now it's changed again for Windows 8. I imagine that I haven't seen any logos for Windows Phone yet, but I can imagine that's going to change as well. And if it's already out, I haven't seen it yet. Any new Windows Phone logos. Now that's one logo that hasn't really changed in a very long time. The Toyota logo. The Toyota logo. When are they going to change that? It's that circle with oval. It's actually an oval with a smaller oval inside the big oval and going horizontally. And then there's another oval vertically. And those two smaller ovals form the letter T inside of a big oval. So I wonder when they're going to change that. That's been around for a very long time. And Dodge. The Dodge logo hasn't really changed much. Nor has GM. I think at one time, Google was, why are these big technology companies using rainbows back in the early 2000s? They're using rainbows for their logos. Microsoft had a straight white and black logo with the big fat letters, but the Windows logo had the colorful flag. The Google logo is different colors for the Google logo, and the Apple was the gradient of was like a rainbow color apple with a bite in it. What is up with the technology companies with rainbows? Makes you wonder. No, I'm playing. I'm just playing. Okay. Hey, let's play. Oh. That wasn't a joke. I'm offended by what he said. Talk about rainbows. I love rainbows. I like rainbows too, okay? And I have a lot of friends who love rainbows too. A lot more than I do. So nothing against anybody. Oh, shit. Yeah, I mentioned in the iLog yesterday, I think, that I went to my managers and asked for a day off on October 26th. And the reason I did that is so that I can make sure that I'm available to stand in a long-ass line to get my Microsoft Surface. I'm just going to get the 32-bit version, just a standard RT. I think that'd be fine for me because all my files are in the cloud. I don't think I really need everything to travel with me, and because it doesn't have 3G or 4G built into it, I'm not going to have access to my data while I'm on the road and not nowhere near a Wi-Fi. So my thinking is, anything I really need right away, I'm going to store it in the memory, and then everything I, like to access, whenever I need to access it, I just need to hook onto someone's Wi-Fi and just access it that way through the SkyDrive, save it locally, and there I go. But everywhere I go is always at some place where there's some type of Wi-Fi. Coffee shop, restaurant, the place I work, they have a Wi-Fi for employees, and of course my house, we got a really good Wi-Fi system there, so everything I need is accessible over the internet, and I can always download it locally from my SharePoint site or my SkyDrive and access the documents and do what I got to do. But I'm definitely going to be there on October 26th, and I'm going to go through a red light. That's fun. This is probably like the second time this month that I ran through a red light because I didn't feel like waiting there. Against the law, I don't advise doing that. Leave it to the professionals. But yeah, I'm going to be that idiot standing in line waiting for my tablet. And in my iLog yesterday, I was chuckling because when I was in Chicago, when the iPad 3 came out, I think it was iPad 3, and it was early 2011 or late 2010, one of those. It was snow on the ground, I do remember that, and I was walking from work to the red line station that's right there on Halsted. I don't remember the cross street. In Chicago, they don't call it cross street, they call it intersections. Whenever I say cross street, people are like, what's a cross street? And then in California, they say cross street. Phoenix, Arizona, cross street. It's so funny. That's another story right there about cross streets. I'll mention that in a minute. But I was right there on Halsted and at the Apple store, walking to the train station, and there was this long line of people wrapped around the building at the Apple store waiting for it to open. In fact, no, let me think back. I was going to work because it was in the morning, so of course, it was before the Apple store opened. And a lot of the store team members, the employees there, they were running around trying to get everything set up. They had these huge boxes that I guess it got delivered. It had all the iPads in it, and I guess they were ready to distribute them and sell them. Every Apple employee had one of those, they had an iPad to do their transactions over the Wi-Fi, so they didn't have to go to the cash register. So I guess everything was done, and they had like a little slot where they could slide the credit card on their iPad. A couple of them had it on their iPhones. And there were people standing in line, waiting to get in. And I remember laughing at those people saying, why in the hell just wait a week and then go to the Apple store and not have to wait in line all night? But you have to be the first one to get the iPad 3. Really? October 26th, I'll be that very guy. I'll be that idiot standing in line waiting to get my hands on the Microsoft Surface. And then I'm going to take it to work on October 27th and brag about it. And people are going to be like, oh, I wish I had one. It's better than my iPad. Okay. If you got an iPad, you got an iPad. No big deal. You know, iPads are solid machines. They're great. I wish I had one. You know, basically, I wish I had an iPad. They're great machines, and they're like mini computers. But I am more partial to what Microsoft's doing with Windows 8, and I like what I see so far. Of every review that I've seen on YouTube, the only complaint about Windows 8 is the desktop functionality. If you have a desktop I'm going to go back on that, because the only complaint that people have about Windows 8 is the inability to boot into desktop directly. Also, the fact that it's not really made for non-touch compatible screens. And in another iLog, I mentioned that I can see where Microsoft's going with this, because just like the mouse was introduced with Windows 1, people didn't know how to use a mouse. I remember when I first started using a mouse, I really didn't know how to do it. I was like, this is crazy. You know, it's just like driving for the first time. You're like awkward at first, going back and forth. It's like driving stick for the first time. Finding where that, you know, that medium is, you know, where you shift from 1 to 2 to 3 and then back down to 1 when you're stopping. It's the same thing. Just like riding a bike for the first time. You got your training wheels, okay? But how long does it take to learn how to drive? How long does it take to learn how to ride a bike? Not very long. Eventually, you're riding a bike without training wheels, riding all over the city. Just like I was. I mean, I started riding a bike, and yes, I fell once, I fell twice, and then after that, it was like nothing. I was riding a bike everywhere. There was not a place I didn't go when it came to my bike. So, when people started using a mouse, it took just a little bit of time for people to get used to the fact that instead of using terminal-based machines, text-based databases, which a lot of companies still use, they're starting to use a graphic user interface where you point and click on icons and links. You click on words and you click on icons. It opens something up or it goes somewhere. And that's what a mouse did for people. And it worked great. People accepted the mouse when Windows 1 came out and when the first Macintosh came out. And remember, the mouse also came out when the Apple IIgs was released. The Apple IIgs came with a mouse, I believe. If I remember correctly, they did come with a mouse, right? I have to look. Actually, that's going to be something I have to look up. I am not 100% sure about that, but I do believe the Apple IIgs came with a mouse. And if it didn't come with it, it was an option. And I remember it had a PS2 port. Remember the PS2 ports? If you don't know what PS2 port is, you are very young. A PS2 port was the older version of the USB. But it was a parallel connection instead of a serial connection, where USB is digital and it can integrate with multiple devices. The PS2 can only do up to one. You are limited to one device per PS2 connection. And I remember, if I remember correctly, the mouse had its own port. It was a bigger port for the mouse, I think. I have to remember, I have to dig deep on this memory. Because how the hell did you plug in the mouse and the keyboard? Well, on a Macintosh, I remember that the mouse plugged into the keyboard, and then the keyboard plugged into the computer. And the Macintosh used the phone cord to plug in the to the computer. And it was, and I don't remember if it was I don't know the names of the cords, but I don't remember if it was the regular phone cord or plug, or was it the network plug that they used. But I remember that it was a phone cord. And in the PC they used the PS2 plugs, which looks like the monitor, the RGA monitor plugs that a lot of computers still have, because a lot of people still have RGA monitors. Even the flat screens are RGA. Now, you're going to have to remember back when we had CRT. CRT was the monitor of choice. That's all we had. We didn't have flat screens. But then we changed to flat screen monitors. Now we're going into touchscreen monitors, because now when you go to a store to buy a monitor, you cannot get a CRT monitor. They don't sell those anymore. They only sell LCD or